patrons. I'm here today with my friend Carol, and we are going to be talking liver. Now, I can already hear a chorus of ew going on. This is going to be good. And what you need to understand, like Carol and I know, is that liver is so good for you. It's kind of nature's multivitamin. And I recruited my friend because I wanted to show how easy it is to do. So let's get started.
Fresh calf's liver, the fresher you can get it from the butcher, the better.
Yep.
So I'm gonna put it in milk just for a little bit. That takes down the flavor just a little bit, especially for people who don't like liver, like my daughter. Oh yes, your daughter.
And my daughter, and possibly my son, and we're gonna have everybody taste this today.
The key is don't get old liver because it's just gross. And soak that for a little bit. It just pulls a lot more of the blood out of the valves and stuff like that. It just gives it a lesser liver flavor, but it's still, the way I'm going to do it is very, very quickly. We're going to put it in the lupin flour, which I just normally use regular flour, but trying to be better. And then in the flour, we will put salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Mix that up. We'll dry our liver. Then we'll pat it into egg, and then we'll pat it into the flour mixture, which is lupin, salt, pepper, and garlic. And then we will go over to the cast iron frying pan. We'll put a little butter in. We'll give it a sear for a minute or two on either side, and then we're done. And we just eat it right away. And
so simple.
How we do it. Okay, so I've just taken the liver out of milk, and I'm just going to take it and dry it off.
So you're really just trying to get the surface dry enough so that when we put the liver in the flour and spices, then it'll have some grip, right?
Yeah. So milk was to ease in people who don't like the strong flavor of liver, which I love liver no matter how it goes. That's the one.
So that's the egg wash, right?
That's it. And then lupin flour, salt and pepper. My hands are now wet. So.
Now some of you may be wondering about pepper. It's medium oxalate, but if you're using a little, it's not a big deal. So if you're a real fan of fresh pepper, go ahead and do that.
Could you use white pepper?
You could absolutely use white pepper.
There's always alternatives to every little oxalate issue.
Generally speaking.
And this is Himalayan salt, so I like the flavor of it.
Yes, and more minerals.
And then I just use garlic powder.
You can do it like this, folks. You don't have to worry about measuring ever. And garlic powder is so low oxalate.
I'm not even sure how to do the measuring. Like I've never.
It smells quite good, actually.
And I'm going to use a knife because I don't have another fork. That's not going to be enough.
Okay.
I can tell. But we can get one piece of liver done, and then we need to heat the frying pan, put some butter in it, and get it going.
So the frying pan should be hot when you put it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you don't want to cook it long, and you want it hot and ready to start frying the surface. You'll see how the lupin flour works.
That looks like maybe a quarter cup. Oh, now you got a half cup. So that will be enough for two?
We'll see.
Okay.
I never really know. Now I used to do butter, but it tends to burn. And because I'm going to use a really hot grill, I am going to use bacon fat that I've just taken from when I cook bacon and stuff like that. It doesn't burn as fast. And we don't have bacon to go with our liver, so it's going to give it that bit of bacon flavor.
Quick in the egg wash.
I usually just use my fingers.
Yeah, which is fine. Cooking for home is allowed. In the flour. with the spices.
Tell it's calf's liver, it's so delicate. It doesn't have all that hard.
Yeah, it's probably a better one to start with, what do you think?
Oh yeah, if you're especially, you don't want anything
Strong tasting.
no. No, and it's not got the grizzly veins or arteries that would run through a bigger. Don't afraid to get messy because it's easy, but it's messy. It's still not cooking quite as fast as I like it to do. Then it'll get hot. I'll be about 2 pieces in. And I would usually do, 5 or 10 pieces, and then you eat them over the next hour or so because you'll munch on them. They'll be good snacks, and salty and peppery. Starting to brown.
From the standpoint of easy, it's so fast, right? Like even, if you're cooking enough even for a family, it's going to be pretty quick.
It's important to have the grill hot. I'm not sure it was quite hot enough when I did it. But as soon as you start, and this is Pete, the flour that you gave me, it's not working quite the same as a regular flour would. You can see the Maillards,
Right.
little bits of, and then I touch it to tell when it's done.
Right.
So just like when you're doing a steak, when you do this, when it gets about medium rare on a steak, you can tell the same. When it gets to be that dense.
Right.
Then,
Perfect. What a great little tip.
and the thicker parts will obviously cook faster than the thinner parts, right? So this will cook faster than that, but you don't want it bloody inside. You just want it
Pink, right?
pink.
So the flour looks different here, and it's working differently, right?
It's working a little less different, or more different. It's just different. So it's still, the flour sucks up the moisture,
Right.
so that you can get that Maillard, a tiny bit of Maillard rust, right? A little bit of brown holds all the spices together to it. But that, so this one's just about done.
Oh, look, it's got some nice browning on it too.
Yeah.
But without being overcooked, which is what I'm loving here.
Well, you have all those people that do raw diets and stuff, right? They would warm it up, but they wouldn't. This feels like it's done.
But it's nice that the flour gets you that little bit of browning.
Mm-hmm.
It just looks...
It holds the salt and pepper and stuff into it. Okay, so
Awesome.
let's see how it looks. It's open. Just a tiniest bit of pink left, but
Yeah, it looks perfect. And you can see how tender it is too, as
Oh, yeah.
opposed to having to like
Oh, yeah,
saw your way through
you
it.
could probably cut it with a fork with no problem. Just the slightest amount of pink. This is going to be the thickest part. Not raw liver.
Right,
There you go. That's the most raw part.
right.
And
my daughter here who
Doesn't like liver.
doesn't think she likes liver. So I'd like to have her try just a little piece so that those of you who are also saying, are you out of your mind, can consider that perhaps this might be worthwhile.
This one.
So, Carol's got one for you.
Okay. Think steak.
Think steak.
Yeah.
That's really a good
Really?
idea.
Think steak.
Those are good. Not as bad as you thought.
Tell us what the flavor is.
Yeah.
Still liver.
It's not as strong as I remember, which is the main reason for hating it.
Good. So try one that's got a little bit of this
Yeah,
crunchy,
try
nice outside.
Her thinner piece.
Yeah. Because the other thing is you have spices added here, a little bit, some salt, pepper, and garlic. And you've got this lovely thin coating on it.
Kind of a
I'm a liver, eater, right? But I really like this because it was so simple. And I love just that little bit of coating. And I've never spiced liver ever.
No?
I've just pan fried it, but quick. Like
It could use a little more salt.
It could use a little
But
more
I'm-
salt.
I'm-
The garlic is really nice.
Yeah.
And the lupin flour did okay,
It did
which
okay.
is a nice,
Yeah.
option.
Alternate. Yeah. You don't have to use regular flour.
Another newbie to liver, found him behind the camera.
Now, if you decorated that with a lot of bacon on the side and some grilled onions.
Yeah, it's
and
pretty good. It's pretty good this way.
And so healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially for people who are not getting enough iron, not getting enough B vitamins. If supplements are a problem, this is a way to be able to handle it. Where you're getting it in a food, you digest it slowly, you're not taking this capsule or whatever. For women who need to get enough iron, awesome. This is essentially a zero oxalate meal. There's a tiny bit in the pepper, there's a tiny bit in the lupina flour. I'm just wondering, Carol, could they use a starch to do this flour piece?
I think, what kind of starch?
Potato starch or something like that?
Why not? Like I said, this is the first time I've used lupin flour. I can't see why you wouldn't try a couple different variations. I don't think it's going to change the flavor.
No.
Really, it's just about drying the liver out a smidge and holding that to the meat, whichever holds the salt, pepper, and garlic. So
Yeah, but we did try the lupina today, which I haven't used for browning, and it's turned out quite nicely.
it did.
So that's how simple it can be for you to be able to have liver in your diet. We did this basically real time, so not a lot of time for prep. Simple. You could soak longer in the milk if you wanted to, especially if you're somebody who's more worried about the taste. But my kids have both tried it here on camera as well. And so I really want to encourage my followers to take a look at this and consider including it in your diet.